Good morning, everyone. So I thought we'd start off a little differently today and take a look at big caps, FANG stocks, and a few others here. So look, we got that move down. We got a buy signal. Internals, we'll take a look at. Didn't get as extreme as historically would with this kind of a sell-off, but sometimes things are different. That might be coming yet, those numbers. Um, we've had breakdowns on weekly charts on some major indices that the first time since 2003, things started moving up. And so we're not dealing with the same market as we did in the past, where the buy signals where internals had reached a further extreme. And I'll tell you, my thought as I'm speaking here is that the fact that they didn't, there's two situations here. One suggests complacency in the market, in that in the prior years the internals reached so much more of a negative breath, um, and so there was that immediate selling, and the loved ones didn't sell off as much. However, under the hood, there were 30 and 40% corrections in certain stocks. And so now it's not that way. And you have maybe some of the underlyings, but try and find it, that are outperforming. Um, Meaning you see things like the retail index and internet and certainly tech and many others that have gone down quite a bit. And I think in part we're not getting the extreme readings that would um, reflect the negativity and how things came down. And I think it's because of how things stair stepped down. I've used that term a lot. Stair stepped lower. Um, something like this. Let's see if I can. It starts down and up and down and up and down and up and and so on. Whereas, say for example, Apple Computer, it just drops sharply where it was going sideways. So when we see this type of correction that stair steps, it leaves lots of resistance areas to overcome. Where this type, where we had that day trade yesterday in the room, it worked out nicely, but ended with a topping tail. It was a long trade, 5 minute as it moved up. So this type here, while it could bounce, historically, they come down again. And so what we'll be looking for, I think, in the coming weeks, and things right this morning aren't doing much of anything, but either some sideways chop. It's going to be, difficult, not have the nice bounces that we've seen in the past, because the patterns don't support that. Different areas of overhead resistance just lurking above. The FANGs, the big caps, you know, underperforming worse than some others. NVIDIA looks like it's ready to move lower again if it takes out this low. Amazon led the way down, but look, it's under the 200 MA. Maybe that's a retest and reversal, but see if it can get back above 200. That's the kind of information that would tell us, hey, institutions are coming back to the loved ones. So that would be a good sign. It's showing a little relative strength, but it led the way down, quite sharply. Here's Google, slop to the left there to overcome, downtrend under the 200, Apple under the 200, Microsoft under the 200, 50 under the 200. The media's death crosses are all over the place, NVIDIA right? That looks like death cross coming, right? We don't put a lot of weight into these moving average crossovers, but the media starts talking about it. Why didn't they talk about it? And well, Tesla hasn't yet because it had a big move up, but why didn't they talk about, you know, in some of these others already? Anyway, so we've got Broadcom is one of the larger caps, semiconductor. Will it hold here or not? Can it get above $200? That's something to keep an eye on, certainly for a put spread and maybe for some longs. Costco is beaten down, but it's not bouncing. Walmart beaten down, so far not bouncing. Does it test the 200 and bounce back up? JP Morgan, that's the big cap financial. Fell like, the rock off the 10 stories. So when you get this kind of momentum, and you get bounces, historically, they come down again and they retest since they fell so far. So big momentum move, bigger momentum move, typically followed by another move down with smaller momentum to the downside. So we don't want to get too caught up in the talking heads. It's a bottom. Okay, but show me what to buy. That's a bottom. I'm looking across what you guys love, and it doesn't look like you're stepping up like you have in the past. Not yet, anyway. So, pointing out that because these are institutional favorites and they are not looking amazing. So let's keep our perspective in the right place. And so let's do our typical, look at our internals. And so there has been improvement. Right? Breath got back above zero. Right? This sentiment gauge did reach an extreme. This one didn't. You can see markets are down here. They're gapping down. Yesterday, there was buying while the Fed guy was talking. Like, okay, that looks great. Well, didn't close so great. As it got up to resistance, sellers showed up again. And now today, sell off. And gapping down, give or take, in the next 20 minutes. We'll see where it opens. Does it gap below this bar? Does it open down here? Wherever it opens, it's just came up to resistance yesterday, and now, you've got a trading range. So far, we've got a trading range. Keep things in perspective of what's going on here. Can it get above here? And we'd look for a little more upside. Does it go back down here? Do buyers show up? So in scenarios like this, from a swing trading perspective, you're not doing anything. Put spreads, day trades, you have to do the analysis to come to some bias as to what type of instruments are proper to use to profit from in the current market. So swings, that ain't it. Not yet. If you're long term and you think, oh, let me sell naked puts. Let me go see if there's premium at 450 expiring in a month or so. Maybe in a month it'll be down there. You start taking in some premium and you're willing to buy it down there. Big pivot on the weekly chart makes sense to me. All right, let's see what else we got going here. Say put spreads. Does that mean you're bullish? No. Put spreads means I just don't think it's going down much more in the short term. And so every put spread is a very broad term. Now, what strikes? Yeah. What strikes? What's the time to expiration? Are you willing to sell a bull put spread expiring in 4 days? Or are you willing to sell it in 30 days or 40 days? And so how long do you think that this will hold? So when we look at bars and I see this type of scenario that's made up of 4 bars, I'm like, 4 days, it probably works out. Zero DTE, and Dan is saying 4 hours. 0 DTE for an SPX, or this if there was premium. Now, if today's gap up, let's say that the Qs or gaps down. I'm just using this for explanation. Let's say it gaps down here, and at the end of the day, we've got a wide range bullish bar closing near the high of the day on volume. And there's premium to do a put spread expiring in a week or two. It's reasonable to think that would work. So we look at the patterns, we look at the trends, we look at support and resistance, and so on. And then we get into options, which options, which strikes, what time to expiration, and so on. All right. So marking time here, right? Opening here, not doing much of anything. S&Ps, marking time, building resistance, building support. You can see it here on the 65-minute. Maybe it can go down lower. Right? We're waiting to see what's going on here because right now it's just indecision. Small caps showed relative strength, right? Grind up to the 20, getting pushed back down. You can see the consolidation over here. Right? You scroll that 65-minute over, you can see the mess over there to the left. Deep retracement on the 65-minute. YM, whatever was this data here, kind of grinding up, couldn't even get to the 20. And now 65-minute chart. Look at all these pivots down here. Does it hold? Does it get down there? If it gets down there, what does it do? Does it rip right back up again? Right. So we have downtrend, sideways trend. We're dealing with a mess here. Oil on major support. We covered that. Just buying down here. We're waiting to see what's going to happen. Back and forth, back and forth. Gold is backing off a little bit today, right? New all-time highs, extended from minor support from the 20. It's likely to pull back. You see the 65-minute deep retracement. Here's the pivots. Maybe something like this. You're a day trader, you want to look for short setups on the 5-minute chart. And it's just extended like that if it breaks this level. Interest rates. So here's interesting, right? And look at them. Look at this move this morning. Right? Sideways. We had the move down. We talked about the head and shoulders here and the whip that occurred and came down to major support. And it starts to move up. And now it's got this move down this morning. So there isn't a lot of confidence that the economy is going to do well, right? This tariff thing is big concerns. Maybe the April 2nd, we see what happens. And it's like a moving thing, with these tariffs. Like, what's really going to happen? To what extent is it going to happen? So there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets, and so with interest rates moving down, we've covered the transports have collapsed. They're on this major support. So if these markets start making the next move down, we'll see what happens or not. They're going to reach a level. And when they get to that level, market participants, institutions, we say the markets, will have digested this tariff information, the Israel, the Russia, the Fed, and it will have digested it to the point where the bottoms will become much more in our face, so to speak. Let's put it that way. That will create an opportunity. Right now, we're waiting. Like I said, if we were to get that gap down today and a big green bar, it's going to change how we look at things. So let me get rid of this little This was a conversation from the other day. I can click it. I don't know. Whatever. I had it. So where are things gapping down to yesterday's low? See something here. So average ranges are now around, come on, fill in there. Yes, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Won't that be something? Uh, Give or take, let's call it 100 points, right? Average 5-day average range, 100 points. And let me just put something on here, and I'm going to say, come on. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Okay, so that's spiders. We have to get to SPX. All right, so gapping down here, right? Give or take, gapping down to yesterday's low, open, SPX. Yeah, so yes, yesterday's bar was 93 points. The day before was a little narrower. So average range over these days, around 100 points. We're down here. And again, if we were to project 100 points lower, taking too long here. Sorry. So 55, let's call it 55.30. Right here. Yeah, 55.30. Here, let's see where this comes up. I would assume it's going to go down a little bit more at the open, but let's. All right, so we're down below that. That would be the extreme, 55 and a quarter. So that's good. So it's not likely to go down there. That's the point here. It's not likely to go down there, not based on the average. And 56.30, 57.30, take. All right, so that's up around the 200 MA. So that's good too. And it's unlikely to reverse all the way back up there. Let's call it 57.5. So they're in, what did I do? Put it in the wrong one. That's good. This one was good, right? 40, I think 40, to be fair. Okay, so there you go. They're in good locations. There's common sense as to where things might go on for extremes. We're at those ends, and so now we'll just see which way they go before we pick. All yours, Dan. I really don't know, but how I haven't seen the weekly lesson posted on YouTube. Did you stop doing weekly lessons? No, we didn't stop doing weekly lessons, Jay. I will post to you how you can join to see. MT Live is done, but if you want to view all of the replays, you need, go ahead, Dan. You need to join Master Trader Weekly Advantage, which has trade review, other lessons?
Good morning. Yesterday, Fed Day. Alex and those in the green room know I say this every time on Fed Day that, I've been at this full time 25 years, so you just make observations. You get whips, and many times you can't trust your bias at the end of the day. You got to wait till there's follow through. So I just, as a general rule, I say, you know what? And it's, I don't know if it's human nature, people going home, watching the news, digesting what happens, what Powell said. But very often you get big gaps following a Fed day. And so we're seeing that in action right now. And that's why I said, let's wait and see which way we follow through. This was not a convincing pattern. It's either going to continue up, but we've been saying we don't know how big the target is with the stair stepping, or these are going to turn now and be a multi-bar turn for a sell setup, which is what SMH is. So this one I like the void. Alex, you mentioned about shorting cues, I think, but I like this one substantially better because of the void right there. Set an alarm on the big computer, 2377. So that's what I meant yesterday. We'll trade these patterns up or down when we get more clarity. But yeah, I think that when interest rates falling is more people talking about the slowing economy situation, which we've been talking about for months. And now the media's getting, catching up with us. All right, let me go through earnings here and then there's still tons of climos in cruise ships, airlines, and hotel, leisure, consumer spending stuff. Five, this is a nasty downtrend, 80. So I do not call this a pro gap. Why? It's a gap in a downtrend. It's not changing the nasty downtrend. Now, could it be the start of a bottom pattern? Maybe, of course, but I need more information. Why? Assuming that's China earnings nasty. But overall, China stocks have been on fire. FXI, KWIM, ICAD, little bottoming pattern, but need a pullback. It's kind of, a pseudo triple top here. Look, you got three decisive turns there after a momentum move. But you still have a void till you get to that top. Here's a breakdown, maybe a 30-minute low. FVR, I don't see any prints. It's light volume on the 15. I'm going to cancel you. A CMC, no pattern. ACN. I'm going to watch this one. It is down from $400. And it's a real company, like Accenture. So that I'm going to watch. And the green room knows there's some stocks I've been watching for a month. Uh, right, as are these are earnings trades I'm looking at. I mean, there's so many climos I've been watching for a month, like this deck, but there's no turn yet. RH, maybe the start of a turn, but yeah, there's climos galore. PDD, another China stock, was down, bouncing, no pattern. Yeah, these are all earnings I'm going through. No pattern, DRI, restaurant. FDS, no prints, downtrend. Jabil 148. Big old bullish gap, but it's excessive. There's nothing, I don't know what to do with it. HT 3550, bearish gap, but no pattern. Zulu Kilo, no pattern. Shoe Carnival, 21 bucks. That's bearish in a downtrend. That's bearish. Maybe call spread, 30-minute low. Cal was a potential bottoming pattern, but gap down, it's still in pain. And that's it. Those are the earnings. So that these are all just miscellaneous now. Let me just go through them unless you have any questions. SENS, a little bottom fisher. Penny stock, under $1. PayPal, trying to make the turn, down a lot on the weekly. Look at that. There's so many beaten down stocks. So, Craig, I just emailed you a good title that you did at Caparism. I think that'd be good MT Live called Beaten Down, but what do I do? That's a great discussion. Heddles saying ACM may lose government contracts.
Write it up. Write it up.
I
Talk about
will.
anything.
I will.
Yeah.
Daku I have on my core long list. And just because of now I got a monthly buy setup, but I'm not trading the monthly. But this is telling me this is a void, broke out from a multi-year bottoming pattern. So I'm not trading the monthly, but now this had earnings, big gap over red bar, and it's going sideways. The weekly is a 1, 2, 3. So ideally, this chops around for another 1, 2, 3 days, and then we buy a breakout when the market stabilizes. Ralph Lauren trying to make the turn. RH, I already talked about. Let me set an alarm on RL 226. So RL over yesterday's high would be a great 1 DTE put spread. You got to go through the checklist. I don't know how spready he is. Yeah, the spreads and the premium are the key. Kava, another beaten down one. Put spread idea. PII. Why am I looking at this? Oh, it got a downgrade. All right, so that's bearish.
Just,
That's bearish.
gotta put codes in to do everything on
Greg, your mic.
it.
So this looks great. This is for a short idea. Day trade short and call spread. It's gapping under all that support, and it's not excessive in a bearish weekly. So that looks great for a short watch. This one, I think, is Beacon is merging with something, and it's kind of trading like it's a buyout. So I'm not going to do anything. HEI alarm. All right, we were in trail mode. Remember, I forget who it was. We were talking, we had a long discussion why I sold a third of this into resistance yesterday. So that alarm went off, but it's fine. Let me reset it. That looks, I don't know if it's a bad tick or whatever. 2-6. All right, I'm in no rush. Microchip was a sell setup, but look, the gap's too big now. That's a sell setup. All right, MGM. I started looking at some hotels. This is hotel and casino, of course. But look, greater than 100% retracement and bottoming. Red Roof Inn. That one could go. That's this. The best you could hope for here is a failed cell setup, and then it goes up to the 50. But we can find better. Marriott, yesterday's high. Let me set an alarm at 2:48. Oh, we did a put spread in Q's yesterday on Jaku alarm, but I'm not doing anything here. It's an early alarm, of course. Let me just reset it higher. 86. And there was no good premium for a put spread. Hilton has to get over yesterday's high. White House, it's looking good. I'll set an alarm at 91.90 on the White House. Get a nice reversal in the first 5 minutes here. Well, first 2 minutes. 91.90. All right, so we sold a $4 wide 472 put spread yesterday for tomorrow. So we still have, it's again a gap against us, but we still have $6 of comfort for tomorrow. And I'm liking the dip buying here at the open. All my fangs, I got them all in a row. Meta is the one ripping the most on the 15, but there's no pattern. Yeah, X. Yeah, yeah. Remember, we traded it there. We traded it there. We traded it there. But yeah, it still looks higher. SLQT. Yeah, yeah, I agree. All right. Cruise ships, NCLH, CCL's kind of a grinder. ALGT, airline again. Hasn't made the turn. AAL. There's our SMH. It's good to go. Call spread. Yesterday's low. Avco. Greg mentioned, see if it will hold. JBI was mentioned yesterday in the room, and I said it was good to go over yesterday's high. It's still okay. It gapped down 50%. If it takes out yesterday's high, it's good. Stalled. We were looking at yesterday's high as a void. That looks still fine. I like over yesterday's high now. It's bottoming pattern. And then if it takes out yesterday's high, then it's negated today's gap down. EIX. All right, we're done with those. C5 here, there's nothing to do. XEL. I would like 30-minute high better, but yeah, let it, just let it kind of simmer down, particularly with that little topping tail rejection. But it looks good. I'll set an alarm 7052 or 7055. my wine. Nothing to do. Nasty gap. I think doubt there's going to be any premium. That was going to be a good long, but see, I would never trade earnings in the first 5 minutes. We see Sierra gap down, but it's negated, which is a bullish sign so far. ACN gap in the middle of no man's land. I don't like those at all. This is the one I said if it opened up just a little, then I like it, but it's moved too much. Nothing. Carnival, nothing. All right, I got nothing in the earnings department here today. Sophie, yeah, I like that for a 1, 2, 3. Nice 15-minute chart. Yeah, I like it, Thomas. Yeah, like it better because it's right at the declining 20. So I would like it better if it closed like this. Let me put it in this middle chart. This PII gap down I mentioned is bouncing, so nothing to do. AD line gap down under 1,000. No rush here. Alex, your KHC from yesterday. I'll set a new alarm, 2985. Alex, which of their 3 restaurants do you frequent the most? Oh no, my bad. That's Kraft Heinz. I was mixing that up with Yum. Which restaurant do you frequent at Yum the most? Dairy Queen. Yeah, it is a Climo. It is a Climo, absolutely, but zero turn yet. I love Kentucky Fried Chicken, but it is so friggin' greasy. You feel like it's bubbling in your veins after you eat at that store. But I still eat it like every 5 years just to get a little short-term fix. Sophie looking good. This could be a home run entry, Thomas, if you're so inclined. It's the 15-minute breakout of a wide range breakout. I like it. I'm just telling you, I'd like it better as a 1, 2, 3 if it closed like this. And I would sell puts right now at $12 for tomorrow, 3 cents. Next week, 18 cents. Carvana up alarm, Greg, you mentioned yesterday. That's that. It's still got that. It's at the top of the range. But yeah, I mean, that would have been a great put spread, but there was no juice. Let me look again. Unless 165. Yeah, can't get a good midpoint for tomorrow. It's only 30 cents. Well, this is what Craig you said, beaten down, but how do I trade it? Well, the answer is I would like it to go 1 or 2 more sideways bars and then buy a breakout next week.
You don't trade it.
Yet, that's what I'm saying. I said, right. I said, yeah. Unless it sets up. Fast. Oh, okay. I remember saying that was a good day trade yesterday. But then it retraced with the market. All right. Mike Papa, we bought yesterday.
AMAT could be a short or a credit or a call spread under today's low.
Yeah, I still like this and better, but yeah, they won't hit us. I don't know. AMAT's not going to hit if this keeps bouncing. The fangs are all over the place. Dow 30, UNH is up the most, but no pattern. What's down the most? You got cat, cat down the most. Cat's a call spread. Thomas, are you calling Alex a poet? All right, this would be fantastic for tomorrow.
Apple, Tesla, all bearish under today's low. Even probably a 5 minute prior 5 minute bars low. See if they fill the gap and what they do from there. There's a lot of patterns, like the gap down was bought, and we'll see what they do here, whether they just hang near the yesterday's low area, or Microsoft, whether it fills the gap or not.
Yeah, I like it. John, I like it. Yeah, went sideways at resistance. You can buy it right here, stop yesterday's low. 2750 puts also. And you could buy a call also. Hey, tight. Sends alarm if this is the type of trade you do. Oh, I got filled pre-market. I was bidding 65 pre-market. I got in. That's Sprint's AXP is a 1, 2, 3. What's XLF doing? Actually, a sell setup, but it's holding strong, so it's not a good sell setup. Pelletier, we have a put spread, the Q's put spread, SMR put spread, which could be a directional next week. And soon put spread doing nothing. All right, so all those are fine. CLH cruise ship alarm. Climo, White House alarm. It's early though. Let me reset. Open advisory letters, say okay, doing nothing. CELH, doing great. Send F, doing fine. Oh, actually, it stopped out today, if that's real. Is that real? I'll just reset the same alarm. That's 145.78. I'm gonna move it under 146.50. We have 2/3 left. Actually, my alarm did not go off on this. So maybe it was a bad tick. Well, go from yesterday I mentioned negated the gap down was bullish. Nibbled a little yesterday. So I'll put a order out just in case it does a big old move. How about 295? Yeah, but that's far away. It's 1 to 1 to yesterday's low, and then you just be in management mode. It could churn its way through it and go to the 50. But it wouldn't stop me from buying it if you like the pattern. Daco looking good. I don't need anything in here. TTD alarm. Oh, up alarm. You're still a dog though. I'd rather my up alarm go up than down alarm. CXW doing good. I'm gonna stop here now. Under 20. PBS is good to go. That's posted. Delta, Morin, GoDaddy, nothing. HE, nothing. HEI. And move this stop. Let's move it again under 262. No, not here, but I like the reversal bar. I would like it a lot if it had a 1, 2, 3 for Monday. I mean, could it keep going? Of course, we never know, but I don't feel comfortable doing it right now myself. But yeah, it's a bullish pattern if it closes like this. Yeah. Octa, we have covered calls. Look, perfect covered call. Rally to resistance, red bar. They expire tomorrow. And then ideally it expires full profit, the 115s, and then it continues its march next week. Check my alarms. Out here, Tesla, we're still in. That's it. So I got all those updated now. Meta, remember I said pre-market or right at the market open, it was moving the most. Look at that, kept cruising. Man, let me check put spread on this one DTE 578. 577. There we go, Greg. $5 wide, 63 under today's low. What do you think? You want to watch maybe a pullback right here? Or do you not like? I would do it in a second if it were 0 DTE. FANGS are,
I don't know. I mean, what's the concern? That it's not going to work, which is always the case.
well, the concern is it's had a big move here already.
Well, that's why you're looking at it. But I mean, if it's far enough away, I mean, I don't,
No, today's
uh,
low, 577.50.
I mean, the day's not even over. So why even consider it?
Because that's what a put spread is.
Well, no, not. Put spread is a pattern like any other that's complete.
Well, you, you know when we sell credit spreads, they're many times not complete.
You know what I mean. I mean, you have a pattern with a closed bar that you know is the pattern that you're going to trade on.
Right. So this would be the belief of, do you think these two power bars will hold for 2 days? They
I
do.
would if today was over. I mean, you're talking about your 15-minute chart that has the two power bars. I
Mhm.
don't know what that'll hold today. I mean, it would suggest since they are, but market gapping down, Qs can't fill the gap. It's close. The spiders haven't filled the gap. It's close. They haven't broken a prior 5-minute bars low yet. The Qs have. I mean, it's uncertain because we don't have patterns. We don't have completed patterns. And you've got 5-minute charts that I'm looking at that gap down sharply from yesterday. And what I said pre-market was, look, we got this gap down. If this thing was to close near the high of the day with a wide bar, now I really got something I feel like I can hang my hat on. But if this is at the low of the day later today, I think it's going down tomorrow, broader markets.
Mhm. Ralph Lauren up alarm. That was a climb on watch. Lauren. Let's say this one I don't trust at all. This one I totally want to wait for it to close, but it's shaping up. Let me check. I think it's usually spreading. And they got no 215s anyway. Yep, 0 by 75. Too spreading. And they got no weeklies, so forget that. Carvana, how would do a put spread for tomorrow? 167.50. Wow, nice move. 10 a.m. Accelerating more. Build the gap. All four horsemen. No juice for tomorrow. Yeah, we're in it, Alex. We're in it on both letters. Well, no, we took our money yesterday. But yeah, we're in it. Looks good. We're in it. Directional. Been in it for a while, like for 2 weeks. We've been in it since this green bar over here, and it went against us. And I remember saying, "Oh shit, all these inside bars. If this breaks down, you better keep your stuff." Vidiac. Yeah, I'll set an alarm. Alex, comp. But I would like it to close like this, but you and I have been watching this for a week or two. But if it closes like this, I love it. Tomorrow over the high. Man, what number came out of 10? I'm accelerating here. Yeah, I'm not yet, but I like it. $9 puts. I'll try to sell the $9 puts for, I'll sell them for 15 and then I'll roll them. 80X. Ah, that's something my brother, I got my dad into for my brother. It's some diversified fund. I'm gonna buy him some more. 15. RH. Look, this is me. Look, this was up here and I saw it spreading. So I just said, you know what? Let me try 23. And look, he filled me immediately, causing that top and tail. Isn't that wild? URA. Yeah, bottoming pattern. Yeah, uranium got whacked recently, but sure. Bottoming pattern to the 50. Alex, it's very hard finding perfection. It's another bottoming pattern. Like, look, SMR alarm went up too. Look, SMR is identical. Well, actually a tad better, I think. I like this one better, the A/B test. A/B test, this looks good. Two, yeah, yeah, day's not over, Climo, but that's the biggest move in a week. So sure, it's intelligent. It's intelligent entry. Let me put it here, see what type of pullback we get. Check puts as always. The $25 puts 0 by 60 cents. So I'm gonna try selling for 40. Go low offer. There's no weeklies. So forget that. That we're back in a profitable territory on our Q's put spread. And I sold Q's and spiders naked yesterday. 558. Q's we got 472. $4 wine. $0.37 Q. All right, let me think about that, John. I gotta think about that one. But I like your involvement with quizzes and movies. I like that. 476. How about old lady in the shoe? How about that?